landfall as a Category 5. They call this one, and they still continue to call it, the storm of the century. And Jamaica, even though parts are devastated, as we know, resilient, hardworking, and of course a people that will never sit down in this moment of adversity. And I'm happy to report that we, in our capacity as Trinidad and Tobago, via the government, we have pledged major support to Jamaica, our brothers and sisters up north. Jason Williams, that's my name, I'm signing on, and we're looking at the footage this morning. So Black River, an area that was devastated. I reached out to the Member of Parliament for Black River under the JLP government, Floyd Green, personal friend of mine actually. And he is actually from the area, a countryman who, of course, went forward and continues to represent his constituency. I think this is his second or third term. And this particular area is to the southwest of Jamaica. And when I messaged Floyd, I'll read the message I sent to Floyd yesterday, because getting onto him via the phone was a bit challenging. So I sent and I said, quote, Floyd, saw your constituency took a hit with the hurricane, just sending my regards. And I know it's going to be a long day ahead. I said, stay strong. And I have you in my prayers and thoughts, and we'll touch base. And he just simply said, quote, rough times. That's Floyd Green, Member of Parliament for the Black River area there in Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, and these areas would have been impacted the southwest, and as the storm made its way to the north, it made an exit via Montego Bay, and the destruction, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's going to take clearly months, in some instances, I'm sure years to rebuild, but I trust they will rebuild better, bigger. You know, this gives an opportunity to strengthen the infrastructure. So again, to our brothers and sisters in Jamaica, we send our love, and most importantly, we send our support. And that pledge came from the government as to how much and when the rollout will begin. I believe as early as today, I heard that they're going to start putting, stuff together to send up, because obviously some of the airports still very much, closed. Believe they will reopen today, so at least folks, all the tourists, the 25,000 plus tourists who are trapped on the island will get a chance to head back home, and most importantly, supplies of relief will get a chance to get in to Jamaica. So again, the front page, Deadly Melissa, and that commitment that TNT will mobilize support for Jamaica as monster storm leaves trail of death and destruction. Now that is a man-made storm. No, that is not a man-made, that is a natural disaster storm. We are also bracing ourselves. And again, this is not fear-mongering. We are looking at developments happening far removed from Port of Spain, where Jamaica just dealt with Mother Nature. But we are dealing with clearly geopolitical posturing, decisions being made by leaders, by people who are under them, who are gauging. And you know, the interesting thing is when military assets are so close to each other. Of course, there's a ship docked here just for a few more days. There's a big aircraft carrier on its way to the Caribbean. Yesterday, it's reported that 2 bombers flew, kind of made a little surveillance run 45 miles off of the airport there in Caracas. Talks of a Russian cargo plane landing yesterday in Caracas. So there is stuff happening all over, and the reality is when military assets with people who have different and opposing views are close to each other, one error, one misjudgment, one wrong step could spark a shambles, to be quite honest. And again, we don't want this. Certainly no one wants this anytime, any day, in any capacity. But we're looking at what's happening through strategic lens, and we're just trying to keep everyone informed. It's not to make anyone be fearful. It's not to press any panic button, but we need to have these very important discussions. And of course, we'll get a chance to hear from the opposition leader this morning, not only on the geopolitical moment we find ourselves in, but naturally some of the local developments via the budget and more or less the opposition's position on some of these major talking points. With that being said, we head to the back page on this Thursday morning, Thursday the 30th of October, 2025. Even though it was a loss for the senior women's team, we could safely say that, I mean, it could have been worse. 4-1 the final score, from what I understand, but really, as Yaya, who's the captain, said, it's really tough to build something with about what they had about, 3 weeks? It wasn't really a long time. Basically 3 weeks isn't really enough to build, as she says, what they're building. But there is potential with the squad. Hopefully there's going to be a permanent leadership via the management, because as we know, Coach Angus Eve, he decided to burst the tape, whatever internal back and forth. Angus is a man, he not going through that. I know Angus, he's a straightforward, straight shooter. That's Angus Eve, and he not going through no BS and no back and forth and no, he not on that. So he sail into the sunset. Let's see who takes over the helm, and I hope sincerely that the women's structure did get themselves in a particular momentum so that we could qualify for a World Cup. At least we have that opportunity come next year. When it comes to the men's senior team, our next game is against Jamaica. And that's happening next month, November the 13th, at the Hazley Crawford Stadium from 8 p.m. So we'll keep you in the loop. And of course, great news for the cricket fans and West Indies supporters. We finally won ourselves a series. Well, I mean, it's 2 games won. The series is best out of 3. So clearly, foregone conclusion, we won the series, and we have been able to end that losing streak. And let's hope they could probably go for the clean sweep against Bangladesh when it comes to the 2020. We head to the brief on this Thursday morning. And if ever there was a sunset, my friends, this is a sunset. You always get it fantastic there in the Gulf of Paria. That's one place. You see Gulf of Paria, and for our friends who live Caranage, all those who live up in the hills there, when you're going towards like more Shagaramas, but who live like in the hills of Caranage, even from Diego Martin, sometimes you get it nice. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Oh, Pity Valley to end? Oh, for sure, yeah. You see, I've always said there is a majesty with a sunset, but there is also a splendor with a sunrise. For our friends who live in the east, the Mayaro and that particular part of the country, even where I'm at in Sawa, when I leave sometimes in the morning, or even on a weekend, and you get an early sunrise, you see the hue, oh, there is something magical. And that's why I guess, when you consider properties in any part of I've always said that, I have no empiricals to prove it, but I look at the cost of living on the west side of any country. Think about it. Any part of the world you go, once it's on the west, especially if you're close to the sea, there's a particular cost attached to that. Higher sometimes than even the east, and I think it's to do with the sunset, because there is something that's priceless when you're able to sit on a balcony, sipping a tea, sipping a wine, whatever you're sipping, or you're just relaxing and you're taking the sunset and you see all the hues and the changing of the colors. There is something that is special, and I guess it comes with a cost. So for our friends in the Southland, Gulf of Paria, our friends west side, Pity Valley, Diego Martin, Caranage, Shagaramas, you'll probably see it all the time and you get accustomed, but for us who don't see the sunset all the time, this is really tremendous. This was a beautiful picture. Again, Ernesto Alves, well done. And, well, we're seeing here via the brief, the Archbishop using his particular voice, using his platform to call for peace. He's concerned over the talk of war. You always hear of wars and rumors of wars. Well, we're in that moment, and this lived reality is almost like we enter a next chapter of our existence, and I think it kind of started around COVID. We are living in some historic times, and this particular moment of humanity, I believe, years after we are gone, they will talk about this particular moment from COVID into this air of uncertainty. And again, to bring that kind of military arsenal, the top aircraft carrier fleet, I don't think them fellas on no cruise. They're not coming to just position themselves and dock and just, you know, to come and watch the sunset. I don't think they're coming to see this, you know, to say, oh, look at the Gulf of Paris sunset, take some pictures and go back. So TNT, again, it's not about pressing the panic button, it's about being aware and understanding the moment. But we get a chance to ventilate and to expand on it when we come back after the break. The opposition leader, Mrs. Penelope Beckles, joins me live right here on the Morning Brew.
Christmas is amazing. With $50,000 in loans, you're getting low interest rates. CCU Plus discount is great. Everything here to fill your plate. Oh yes, CCU Christmas. Happy CCU Christmas. Secure your family with Happy CCU Christmas.
Christmas your way with Police Credit Union. Visit our location or apply online at policecreditunion.com. All normal lending criteria applies. Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Sheikleisha Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Sheikleisha Limited, 665-3336.
Introducing CTS College's Early Learners Academy, our physical school with a nursery, daycare, and preschool. With qualified and experienced staff, modern classrooms, and the latest teaching methods and technology, your child would get the personal care and education they deserve. Activities include potty training, storytelling, phonics, craft, academics, and field trips. Enroll your child today at CTS College's Early Learners Academy.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best market around, high quality meats pound for pound. Get the best for less, start shopping. Go to Southern Food Basket. Shopping how you like it. High quality at the best prices. Every aisle just wide and special. So spend less at Southern Food Basket. Good food at great prices for sure. Come get what you're looking for.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Brilliant! Absolutely outstanding!
Welcome back. Let's get into the very important discussion. As mentioned, we getting a chance this morning to touch base with the PNM political leader and opposition leader in government, Penelope Beckles. Mrs. Beckles is on set with me. Great to see you, and
yes,
thank you for taking the time to spend with me and the audience this morning.
Yeah, early morning, you know. I mean, that's when you feel fresh. You think your brain is ticking and you're ready to go.
Are you a morning person?
I am.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, traditionally, I mean, in practice, normally in office by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm not, since I got married, I kind of change that a bit.
Yes.
But sometimes early morning is best for me.
It is indeed. This morning we're looking at some developments and more so the geopolitical storm that's brewing. We'll get to our neighbors in Jamaica momentarily, and
sure.
I know you'll want to send your regards, but I'm looking at what's happening via our southern Caribbean Sea. Of course, an aircraft carrier on its way. Yesterday, the report of U.S. bombers flying 45 miles off the coast there of Venezuela. And while all that's happening, so recently you had an audience with the ambassador of Venezuela. Yes. A caller actually from Tabakit yesterday, while we do the open forum, he suggested, well, what the opposition leader doing, meeting with the ambassador, what's the purpose of that discussion? He more or less found it was a bit stepping out of the bounds, as it were. I want to give you a chance to explain to us the reasoning behind that meeting and what transpires on the back end to make a kind of meeting like that. Could you just call him up and go meet with the ambassador?
Oh, no, that's really not how it works. I have a letter in my possession because I got the opportunity to hear from one of my staff members that you all would have interviewed the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Mr. Sobers, as it relates to that. And my understanding is he said he was unbothered by the fact that I had the meeting. So I think it's important for the public to know it is not unusual for leaders of the opposition to see ambassadors. As a matter of fact, my first ambassador that I saw was the ambassador from India, who was here to Trinidad and Tobago. I've seen him in India, I have seen China, I have seen Palestine, I saw the Venezuelan ambassador, and then this week I'm going to see the ambassador from Cuba as well as from Japan. All of those arrangements are done through the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. So it's not that you get a call and you do this at your convenience or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would not know. As a matter of fact, I have an official letter here signed by the Acting Permanent Secretary, Francilia Waldrop, which in essence says, and I think it's important if you just bear with me, all right? So the Embassy of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela has requested the assistance of the ministry in facilitating an appointment for His Excellency, Ambassador of Venezuela, to pay a courtesy call on the Honorable Penelope Beckles, leader of the opposition, at a mutually convenient time. They go on to say that, according to the embassy, the purpose of the meeting is to convey congratulations from the government on her selection as leader of the People's National Movement and leader of the opposition, to express appreciation for her party's stance in support of Latin America and the Caribbean as a zone of peace, as declared by CELAC. And of course, that the ambassador of Venezuela, he's the dean of the diplomatic corps, and he will allow liaising with embassies and heads of missions, noting that all engagements will be coordinated through the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. So I hope this explains exactly that you would get correspondence from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so they're aware.
Are you at liberty to speak on what was discussed between yourself and the ambassador?
Oh, sure. I mean, as indicated, that traditionally there is this motion about our region being a zone of peace. We have traditionally supported that. And of course, congratulations. It wasn't a long meeting, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. Of course, the issue of what is going on between Trinidad and Tobago was raised, not in any detail, but I mean, you can't pretend that is not.
It is the elephant in the room.
A real issue. Yeah. And talked about the relationships we have had over the years. I mean, it's also important to note that when the Honorable Prime Minister was leader of the opposition, between the period 2015 to 2020, the Honorable Prime Minister would have met with the leader of the opposition from Venezuela as well. So that is not anything unusual.
Indeed.
I mean, I have myself been, as you know, an ambassador, permanent representative at the United Nations, and a courtesy call, as they indicated, it's a courtesy call. And in that courtesy call, and with me at that meeting, was former Minister of Foreign Affairs, now Senator, the Honorable who from time to time when I have meetings, he would attend.
Dr. Amory Brown.
Dr. Amory Brown, who will attend those meetings. And so he's a former ambassador to Brazil. And I know he too has the experience. So, and we understand that. So I can see that based on what is going on now, people will feel, well, why did you? But I am very knowledgeable about the process. I'm very conscious of the process. And I hope that that letter will, certainly resolve whatever concerns.
Thank you for the clarity in that regard. Let's address the elephant in the room, because I know you said the audience was a short audience with the ambassador, but clearly speaking to the nation, what's the opposition's view on the escalating tensions right now, the geopolitical uncertainty that exists between ourselves, Venezuela, and of course with the U.S. and the military presence in our southern Caribbean seas?
Well, I mean, we must be concerned. CARICOM, I mean, listen, we support CARICOM's position. I have not hidden that in saying that we really would like this region to be a zone of peace. That's traditionally, that's a policy that CARICOM countries have taken over the years. As a matter of fact, Trinidad and Tobago has always supported this region being a zone of peace. I mean, you go back to Grenada, you go back to the revolution. I mean, we would recall at the time that Eugenia Charles, who was the Prime Minister of Dominica at that time, actually went to Washington. And I mean, I don't know if you would remember that. You would have been quite young, and had a discussion with President Bush at the time, literally inviting him to come to the region. So we understand the importance, energy security. I mean, that there is a treaty that speaks to this being free of nuclear weapons and nuclear. So how does that impact on us? It's important for us. This government has spoken about, drug trafficking, narco trafficking, smuggling, and I also want to make it abundantly clear that the People's National Movement, we do not support smuggling, drug smuggling, narco trafficking. We do not support any of those things. But we have been a signatory to treaty that speaks about international law, and we understand from the several boats that have been blown up, there is no evidence to date as to whether those persons were carrying drugs. Now, they may be, but we do not have that evidence. We think that's equally important.
And I would imagine there's supposed to be due process when it comes to...
Yes, and that's an issue about international law, because remember now, there are two Trinidadians who, from all indications, were on one of those vessels. Fishermen, I mean, people have made allegations that at least one of them may have been previously charged, but we are talking about the particular day on which this incident happened. And we, Trinidad and Tobago as a country, we need to maintain that position about due process.
Well, I would imagine the Prime Minister's reasoning, based, I'm trying to obviously decipher some of her comments and even her supporters, they look at it through the lens of Trinidad's proximity to Venezuela and us suffering from obviously some of the, when the drugs come, the guns will stay. And obviously on the back end of that, we would have had 600 murders last year. And I guess she's looking at it, she would have gone to the UN. You were there a couple of weeks ago and mentioned to the world that this is not Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
By extension, is not a zone of peace. Your reaction to that particular statement and that reality?
Okay, so let's juxtapose that to the fact that in addition to making that statement at the United Nations, you then had a meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And there was then discussions about resuming negotiations with Venezuela and celebrating the fact that you're now going to have an OFAC license. And if we go back to when this started, it would have been sometime last month, and it has since escalated. So the same country that you have concerns about, drug trafficking and all of those things, you then say that you're going to Venezuela, the same Venezuela, to negotiate. I mean, something has to be wrong with that. I mean, so what exactly are you saying to the public? Drug trafficking, narco trafficking, smuggling. You are also saying up to today, as I understand it, that you're going to appoint an ambassador to Venezuela. So that, in other words, my understanding has always been you're going to maintain diplomatic relations, and it is only when Venezuela said, listen, we are whatever agreement, we don't want any agreement.
So many moving parts, and it's happening every single day. And this week, two major developments out of Caracas, one with the cancellation of the gas deal, and most recently, the persona non grata as it pertains to our Prime Minister in Latin, not welcome. Your reaction to the developments of this week?
Okay, so you understand my point, that the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has said, notwithstanding the fact that there is this motion that was moved to declare our Prime Minister persona non grata, you are still going to appoint an ambassador, and apparently the name is already there. So in a sense, it appears to have a bit of confusion, in my humble view.
Minister Sobers did say that diplomatic relations are good. He said, a matter of fact, they're so good that he calls the ambassador that you met with, they call each other on a first name basis.
Yes.
And I believe once there is still conversation, I think, we're still in the clear, because when conversation breaks down, that's when we start to assume, and when we start to assume, you start to now position yourself more or less in a defensive structure.
Precisely, and that is why CARICOM, in making reference to this area being a zone of peace, has indicated, rather than using what we would call strong language, or I might go a little further to say violent language, we should really explore the possibility of resolution, conflict resolution, and mediation. We can, of course, go back to what happened as it relates to Essequibo, and the fact that there was this possibility when we talked about Venezuela as a possible invasion of Guyana. So it's not as though we hadn't had a situation with a bit of a similarity. And CARICOM came forward, a number of the prime ministers, and they were able to mediate to certainly ensure that sort of situation did not take place. The question still arises, having regard to the fact that Trinidad and Tobago is continuing to have diplomatic relations, the fact that the government is saying, listen, we value the relationship. We have a very good relationship with the people of Venezuela. So then you now have that very large vessel that is coming to Trinidad. Everybody is concerned because that vessel costs billions of US dollars. I mean, so many fighter jets can land, and it's all a question of perception. And that therefore is linked to the Prime Minister saying that there may be a change in her foreign policy position, and also indicating about looking elsewhere for markets.
What do you think should be done, like as of right now, obviously, via the government, if you could really give advice, as it were, or at least via the debates and the back and forth that happens within the House and elsewhere, what direction do you think the government should go at this point in time, more so with even reaching out and explaining this to the nation in a way we could understand?
Well, that has been one of my challenges. One of my challenges has been the failure of the Honorable Prime Minister to come before the media and explain very clearly what the position of the government. Now, it's fine to be issuing press releases consistently, but at the end of the day, the Honorable Prime Minister is the leader of the country. The Honorable Prime Minister, therefore, should make herself available so that just as how I am here sitting today, I mean, as a leader of the opposition, the Prime Minister should do likewise, and I think a lot of the fears, the concerns can be raised with her, and I think the population would be a lot more comfortable. Because if it is the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs is saying very clearly, listen, we're going to appoint an ambassador, we still have good diplomatic relations, we still have good relations, I'm a friend of the Venezuelan ambassador, and yet still on the other hand, you are saying you're thinking of going elsewhere and looking elsewhere for trade, and at the same time you are saying kill them violently, and you have this war vessel coming to Trinidad, people will obviously be concerned, and quite rightly so, as our CARICOM brothers and sisters are expressing.
Well, as we look at what could be a potential economic fallout with this uncertainty, what does this development say for international stability, international trust? Do you see any kind of economic fallout? And again, we're just coming on the heels of a budget. let's look at this through the lens of the economy and through the lens of the man and woman on the ground just working and trying to get over the line every month.
Well, I mean, the most important thing, again, is for the population to understand the importance of our CARICOM brothers and sisters as it relates to trade. Because in most instances, as you know, Trinidad and Tobago has a favorable balance of trade. So we start with the United States, your largest trading partner, you're talking about 21 billion. Then you go to CARICOM, which is 9 billion. And a favorable balance, I mean, we are exporting 9 and basically importing 1. Guyana first, you know, over 2 billion. Then you have Barbados, you have Jamaica, over 1 billion. So over the years, you have worked. I mean, you're talking about the non-energy sector, you're talking about issues of diversification, you're talking about issues of proximity of these countries. Obviously, there will be concerns that if the Honorable Prime Minister has started talking about looking elsewhere for trade, the question is why? Is it that you have a surplus? Or is it that you have decided, based on what is going on in the region, that you're going to go elsewhere? How is that going to impact? Because you have to think about the manufacturing industries. You have to think about doing your cost-benefit analysis. You also have to look at the complications as it relates to trade. We also know that America has introduced its tariffs. So at the end of the day, we must see that, I mean, have you had consultations with whether it be American chambers or Commerce, the various chambers? I mean, what is their view on this matter? Equally important.
Are we in the position to maintain any form of stability in the case, or in the God forbid that things become a really, you know, if there's some kind of engagement, any kind of movement between these two nations, are we in any way, do we have the capacity to maneuver these uncharted waters?
Well, that's for the government to tell us, because at the end of the day, you have to have a plan. I mean, it is not something that has just appeared on our doorstep in a sense. Because we are going back to the fact that you, Dr. Rowley, the Prime Minister at the time, the Honorable Stuart Young at the time, Minister of Energies, you know, discussions were being held with Venezuela and the United States. I mean, to get back that, to reopen discussions again, to do negotiations. So in a sense, you have a situation, you have a similarity that you can look at where there was this license that was cancelled. We have to do the negotiation. So it means you have the capacity, you have the technical capability. In a sense, we were there before when they said, listen, at the time, President Biden, everything was no. Then you negotiated successfully with the skills of the technical people in the Ministry of Energy, with the Honorable Stuart Young, with the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley. So we cannot say that we were not in a situation where we had challenges. Sanctions were put, arrangements were made as it relates to payments. So the question is that we must understand that if we do not manage this situation, we will have consequences, not only just economic, you know, in terms of the economy, but also in terms of the society.
As you mentioned, economy, the postmortem of the 2026 budget is still underway.
Yes.
Your takeaway from the budget 2026, any winning points inside there, any room for improvement points? Share with us.
Well, I mean, our position, we voted against the budget. We voted against the budget, and I made it very clear that in the view of the opposition, the budget was fake and fraudulent, very deceitful and very dangerous. One of the most important discussions is always the issue of the price of oil. And this government pegged the price of oil, to the budget is about $73. And at that time, when you looked at the international figures, it was somewhere around $50, $60. So it's $25. We asked the question, are you doing that so you can tap into the Heritage and Stabilization Fund? There are a number of important issues for the country, the 10% for the public servants. And I made the point even before the budget that if you have made it clear that you're going to give the public servants 10%, you now say that you're going to negotiate. So and you say that you are now negotiating and there's no allocation at all in the budget for any sort of payments. And the argument is, well, we are now negotiating. Even if you are now negotiating, that does not stop you from putting an allocation for the purposes of good faith. And we can, I mean, you have all the different taxes. I mean, whether it's the alcohol tax, the landlord surcharge tax, the tax on the banks, all of those things, the shift in terms of the retirement age, NIS, all of those things are going to impact negatively. And certainly, I mean, they debated yesterday the order as it relates to the alcohol and as it relates to the cigarettes. Christmas 2025 is certainly going to be very gloomy for a number of people. Nothing in the budget to deal with the CPEP workers, to deal with URP, to deal with reforestation. So we ask ourselves, the government promised the creation of 50,000 jobs. You would take note that during the Finance Committee, there is no allocation for all of those jobs. And even if you have employee TT that they're utilizing and you had all these 100,000+ people going, seeking jobs, at the end of the day, their figure is 25,000 that they're going to employ. We have looked and we have questioned them, and there isn't any allocation to deal with those jobs that they are claiming. The other thing, very quickly, the government made it very clear that they are not in support of contract employment. In every single ministry, there is still an item for contract employment. So I'm waiting patiently to hear, of course, what the trade unions would say, because now you're absolutely clear. Nothing for CPEP, nothing for URP, nothing for reforestation, no allocation as it relates to the 10%. The discussions will continue.
You think you're doing enough, you're being forceful enough to hold the government accountable based on some of the policy positions? They're still very much into early days, not a year just yet, yes. So they're trying to obviously put forward their ethos, their vision for the country. You think enough has been done from your office to really forcefully push back and ensure more accountability?
Well, listen, there's always room for improvement. One is not going to say yes. I would say that we have done all that we can do. There is still a lot to be done, but first you have to follow the process. The process is that you have a finance committee of 5 days. And I mean, I have been in politics for a very long time, and this is the first time I have heard the average person, you go to the market, you go to the grocery, who have been following the finance committee. That's where the accountability is, where you go through all the items, you go through all the ministries, you ask all the questions, and that is where you would see the reduction in the development fund. You would see that in the Ministry of Works, for example, there has been a reduction. In the Ministry of Local Government, every single P&M corporation has gotten substantially less money. So what we have done is ensure that during those 5 days, we bring to the public, and the public now can see. You tell us that your focus is on youth, but yet still there's a reduction in the Ministry of Youth Affairs. You tell us that there's a focus on agriculture, yet still there's a reduction in the Ministry of Agriculture. You tell us you're going to do more infrastructural projects, but there's a reduction in the Ministry of Housing as well as the Ministry of Works. So I would argue that the process that allows you to be able to demonstrate to the public, this is your budget. It's one thing to have a budget and to say, everybody say, yeah, it was a great budget. And then when you go through the ministries, you see that there isn't even allocations for a substantial amount of promises that they made during the election campaign.
Speaking about accountability, lots of, based on the new government,
yeah,
coming into office and unearthing, or at least putting into the public domain and putting questions on said accountability under P&M during their particular tenure in the last 9 years. What's your particular take on some of what was revealed in the public domain?
Well, I mean, one would always expect that when a government changes, that is your focus. You try to make the last government look bad. You try to make all of these allegations. But the truth is, if it is that you have evidence of some sort of impropriety or some sort of wrongdoing, then it's your responsibility to deal with that. And our position as the opposition, you have evidence of wrongdoing, you have evidence of corruption, it's your responsibility to deal with that. But do not use parliamentary privilege as they have developed for the purposes of making these kinds of allegations, and you don't take it further.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, as we head further north now to our brothers and sisters in Jamaica, what's been, I'm sure you have contacts there, what's been told to you and what you think could be? Well, I'm seeing that we have given a commitment to render assistance, and we have always done that over the years with our Caribbean neighbors. But just your general thoughts on what you would have seen, the devastation, and if you would have made contact with any of your friends or colleagues there in Jamaica.
Yeah, well, I have made several contacts, and I mean, the situation is pretty grim. I spoke to, as a matter of fact, I reached out to the ambassador here from Jamaica, who is the ambassador here to Trinidad and Tobago, to get a good sense as to what the devastation, and I think that to me was one of the best contacts I could have made. It would appear that Kingstown has not been damaged as badly as some of the other areas in the West. And so, I mean, Jamaica depends heavily, as you know, on the tourism sector. So you can well imagine the extent to which that would impact on their tourism sector. I want to use the opportunity as leader of the opposition, of course, to express solidarity with the government and people of Jamaica as it relates to this unfortunate situation. But it in a sense, brings us to discuss the whole issue of climate change, again, the issue of CARICOM, and how important it is for us to understand that there are some countries that are more likely to be threatened by hurricanes. We continuously say God is a Trini, because we are far south, so far south that we have not really had a hurricane at all of that kind of impact. I was at the United Nations when we had Irma a couple of years ago in Dominica. And the interesting thing is that whilst we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals and meeting that at 2030, is the ease with which in 1 day or 2 days a hurricane can destroy your GDP, and really your country goes literally backward economically, and it can take years to recover. I'm advised that that same hurricane also hit Cuba, and was heading as well for the Bahamas and Cayman Islands.
Yeah. I know prior to the Hurricane Melissa making landfall, there were some concerns about the handling of the students. I'll give you a chance to elaborate on that, because I had a chance to speak to the Student Association president, and she said that yes, the consulate there kept in touch and they brought some supplies, but indeed the repatriation, really, the pulling out of the students, there was, do you think that was mishandled?
I am of the view it was mishandled. Now, we have to admit that when there's a hurricane, there are a lot of challenges, but Trinidad and Tobago is fortunate. We have Caribbean Airlines, unlike a number of other countries. So when you listen to whether it be St. Kitts or Grenada or others, they were able to put in place fairly early arrangements to have their students move. I am going based on a newspaper's report that made reference to the fact that emails were sent, and clearly the majority of students did not receive the email. So the majority of students are still in Jamaica. My other concern has to do with the Honorable Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs making reference to discounted fares. Now, I mean, you have been a student, whether it's locally or foreign, and the issue of having money somewhere to be able to pay.
It's non-existent for lots of students.
It's non-existent. So yeah. I am quite surprised. I must say I'm quite disappointed by the fact that the government would have even put in place a policy that makes reference for students to have discounted fares. And I recommend very strongly that in a case like that, the government gives a rebate. You cannot have in the office of the Prime Minister having passed during the same finance committee $9 million increase in terms of overseas travel. And the 368 are really students on the campus. There are several other Trinidad students who are not just in the University of the West Indies, and they need absolutely to revisit that policy of discounted fares. This is a hurricane. This is a natural disaster. This is a situation where the students and parents definitely would not have catered for.
Hopefully.
And as a country and as a government, they need to be much more sympathetic and understanding.
Well, hopefully it's a watershed moment, and it gives the
Yes.
government a chance to put some kind of strategy in place in the eventuality of any weather event in the future.
But it's also going to help us in terms of all the comments you have been making as it relates to CARICOM recently. I mean, this is an opportunity for us to demonstrate that in a crisis, in a time of natural disaster, that notwithstanding our own challenges in our country, that we recognize that with climate change, we have seen the flooding that has been taking place right here in Port of Spain, in South, and many other parts of the country. This is a time for us to be sympathetic. This is a time for us to be understanding. This is a time for us to step up as a country and say to the students and say to the people of Jamaica, we are with you, and we will do all within our power to assist.
As we pull the curtains down, Mrs. Beckles, what more or less will be the opposition's priorities, plans heading into 2026?
Well, again, one of the most important things is the issue of accountability. We know the role of the opposition. The role of the opposition, you don't just oppose for the sake of opposing. I have made it very clear on my assumption as leader of the opposition, my willingness to work with the government whenever they bring good legislation, and that stands. Because at the end of the day, whatever you do, it's all about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It's about a better Trinidad and Tobago. It's about a better quality of life, and it's also about being responsible. So we are going to do all within our power to ensure that we hold the government accountable. As a party, it's our responsibility to consult, to go to the various communities, to have a good understanding. I mean, I have assumed leadership of the party in June of this year, and there is a lot of work to do. The truth is that we lost the elections. There's rebuilding.
How's that process going, the rebuilding process? The
rebuilding process is going, I would say it's going good, but there's still a lot of work to do. When you have been in government for 10 years and you are now out of government, of course your base, your constituents, people are disappointed, people are frustrated, people are upset. So it's now your responsibility to say to them, yes, listen, as I have said, some people have not been happy about it, but you must express the fact that you are sorry for that loss. You must express the fact that we may have taken some decisions which probably we could have made maybe some more consultations. But the truth is you have to be empathetic, and you have to go to the people, you have to go to the constituencies, and you have to listen to them. Listening is absolutely necessary, and that is what I have been doing together with the entire leadership of the party, making that effort to go and listen and make the kinds of decisions where your constituents, where the population believes that you are going to be ready when the time comes to assume again to the governance of Trinidad and Tobago.
Any closing remarks as we wrap things up, Mrs. Beckles?
Well, I'm just to say that I'm happy for the opportunity to come and speak to the public. I think it's very important for the public to know that the People's National Movement is alive and well, that the People's National Movement is about the business of the people. It's important to let them know that the budgetary process is more or less completed. I mean, we have Parliament on Friday. We will debate the order as it relates to the alcohol tax, the cigarette tax. Most important for a number of people is what is going to happen as it relates to the state of emergency. That debate comes up on Friday as well, where the government has indicated that they are going to make a request for the extension of that state of emergency. As an opposition, we are waiting eagerly to hear what exactly the government is going to say as it relates to that extension.
Do you have a position on that extension? Do you support it?
Well, I mean, on the face of it, if we look at on the last occasion, they said to us that this related to conspiracies, gang conspiracies in the prison. People were moved from there down to Tetron. You also talked about the fact that there was a possible target on members of the judiciary, as well as certain cabinet ministers. We have had a good opportunity over the last couple months to see that, I mean, things have been moving as normal. You have had, this month in particular, a substantial increase in terms of the number of murders. But at the end of the day, a state of emergency has a particular connotation. So they ought to be able to give us some feedback and say to us, listen, all these threats still exist. You're going to say that over the last couple of months, similar to what they said when they were in office years ago, that during the state of emergency, you see reduction in murders and certain activities. We recall that the last time when they had that state of emergency and thousands of people were arrested, they were able to go to court and, of course, successfully prove malicious prosecution and false imprisonment. We are waiting to hear what is the reason the government is giving for an extension. At this point in time, they haven't presented any evidence that will convince us that the state of emergency should be extended. But they may very well provide us with that evidence on Friday, so we will await to see what they're bringing before us. We will have our caucus. We meet today, as a matter of fact, in caucus to discuss what our position will be.
Mrs. Beckers, I want to thank you so much for spending the morning with me and the audience, and we will touch base soon.
Good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day to you and the population of Trinidad and Tobago.
Same to you indeed. A chance to touch base this morning, a very intimate and open discussion with the opposition leader and PNM political leader, Mrs. Penelope Beckles. We get ourselves ready for the 7 a.m. news update, and we come back with so much more after these. See you soon.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
4:20 in the morning, my baby is calling. She tell me she want to know, girl. Yeah! This is your Ragamufukuta representative for Angostura 420, a premium rum drink. 420. Rough wine, balance on it. Drink a 420, relax a bit. 420 we drinking. I tell you, 420 we drinking. Rough wine, balance on it. Drink a 420, relax a bit. 420 we drinking. 420. Yeah.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Ho, 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 ho. Start the season sweet with Jimmy Abood's annual Christmas and October sale. Get up to 60% off on curtains, sheet sets, floor mats, upholstery fabric, and more. Shop now at the last big sale of the year.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, in Deva Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon. Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Looking for big savings and a better shopping experience? Come on down to Food Shoppers Supermarket, 121 Eastern Main Road, Arima, in the J Chai Trading Compound. 10% off meats every Wednesday, 30% off fresh produce every Sunday and Monday. Plus, buy one, get one deals on select items. Shop in comfort, wide aisles, cool and clean store, and spacious parking. Food Shoppers Supermarket. Big on savings, big on comfort.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Fill in the blank, 100 men. Oh no, I got a really hot date tonight and I don't have what?
A girl to take.
What I'm gonna do is, just for the sake of time, I'm gonna head on over this.
2 families, 1 game, endless fun. Family Feud, weekdays at 5:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Good morning, I'm Annalisa Paul with Headline News on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Former TNT Police Commissioner Dwayne Gibbs died last week whilst participating in the 2025 World Triathlon Championship Finals in Australia. The 70-year-old, who was the first foreigner appointed as COP, suffered a medical emergency during the international event and never recovered. According to the event listing, Gibbs, who was registered in the 70 to 74 age group, did not finish. Senior officers of the TTPS were notified of Gibbs's passing by his former Deputy Commissioner Jackie Watsky via email on October 26th. Iwatsky expressed surprise and shock given Gibbs's passion for fitness and a positive lifestyle. Gibbs served as TNT's COP between 2010 to 2012. He resigned 2 years into his 3-year tenure, and his stint was marked with challenges and controversies, including allegations of corruption and the impact of government contracts on gang-related extortion. Former acting COP Stephen Williams, who would have been the most senior Deputy Commissioner of Police under Gibbs, also expressed shock and sadness over his passing. The Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism is today downplaying concerns about possible fallout within CARICOM after Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar described the regional bloc as an unreliable partner. Earlier this week, the Prime Minister accused CARICOM of siding with Venezuela over Trinidad and Tobago. And just yesterday, she revealed that her government plans to realign this country's foreign policy, though she stopped short of suggesting any withdrawal from the bloc. Making his way into the Senate yesterday, Satya Karma Maraj said he does not expect the Prime Minister's comments to cause any major diplomatic rift.
I don't see any problem. We have a long history together, right?
But the Prime Minister said that she may be looking to adjust our foreign policy. She said that CARICOM is a non-reliable partner, and that perhaps could have some consequence, don't you think?
That's a question for the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Thousands marched in Venezuela's Miranda state yesterday, denouncing Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Protesters held placards accusing her of threatening regional peace. Caracas Mayor Carmen Melendez, also a senior Socialist Party official, claimed Persad-Bissessar aligned with Washington to harm civilians. Venezuela's parliament declared Persad-Bissessar persona non grata and suspended all energy ties with TNT. Lawmakers have accused her of betraying her country by supporting U.S. military interests. Several party leaders praised President Nicolas Maduro's decision on the armed forces for defending sovereignty. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
And you as we get into our discussion after 7, second hour on Feel Good Thursday. ASP Russell joins me, media ambassador, and we're coming out of the Tobago Carnival experience. So I want to obviously start there as to your feedback, what you saw on the ground. I know you went up there with some of your colleagues to lend support to the existing troops and the peace officers there in Tobago. As always, good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioner, First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, as usual, it's a pleasure being here.
Would you say it was a success from what you saw on the ground in real time?
I would want to say it was definitely a success. I want to commend my colleagues in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and all the other arms of the Ministry of National Security that provided services to ensure that we had an incident-free carnival for Tobago. I saw the commissioner up there lending that support. I saw a Deputy Commissioner of Police, Ms. Martin. I want to say a special thanks to Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Sabero, Senior Sup Eli, and all the other assistants, superintendents, all the members down to the last joint constable that provided their services. It was a very good carnival. It was a successful one. It was a safe one. And I want to thank, my colleagues for their contribution.
I saw one incident, though, that went viral, and I don't know if you were there. Water party, Juve Fete, it looks like, and a man, strapped guy, strong guy, engaging the attention of a couple of officers, and I didn't know what was the ultimate conclusion to the squabble, as it were, but they were really trying their best to apprehend the guy, and I wonder what's the training, what's the protocol for engaging someone in a party who might be under the sips, intoxicated, not thinking correct. What happens in that regard? What's the procedure?
Well, you say party, but we are governed by Departmental Order 92 of 2011, which speaks to the use of force policy. So, whether it's a party, an event, christening, or just something that occurs regularly in the public, we are guided by that as to how we increase and escalate our force. We start by shouting commands, we have the baton, we have the tasers, and then we go up. Sometimes some of these things could be not as effective as they ought to be, especially in instances where persons are intoxicated, because we must understand that being intoxicated is a drug. You're not thinking in your right mind. You're not thinking in your right mind, and the body may not respond in that particular way. You may have a bit of, I don't want to say immunity, but things that you may not be able to withstand, things that you may withstand regularly. When you're under your alcohol, you might be a little stronger, a little more powerful, because you are intoxicated and your brain isn't functioning as it ought to. Hence the reason it's considered a drug, because it alters the chemical state of the brain as well.
Yeah, indeed. That was really the only particular incident, but other than that, I heard a safe carnival had by all, so well done. I'm looking at a development out of the Southland. I heard Acting Commissioner Benjamin mentioned the goals and the wins via the intervention by your colleagues in the schools. Obviously, officers cannot be in every school, and what we saw coming out of the Southland yesterday left much to be desired. What's the feedback you're getting, namely from schools where officers are positioned? Is it that is helping? I mean, I don't know if you saw this particular clip. We'll obviously have to blur it because it's youngsters. But I mean, Officer Russell is vicious, We're looking at young girls here fighting in a most vicious manner.
And it's even more concerning when you see our young ladies behaving in such a manner, because they are the future mothers, aunts, their sisters, their daughters.
I mean, never seen it on the video, This is really, I mean, they're going at the girl's head. They could damage this young girl. I mean, to me, we must take a serious stance. Don't get me wrong, Officer Russell, we all went to school. It had fights in our school days. I remember well some legendary fights, but one, I never see the girls getting on like this, and I just find it's really vicious.
No. We would definitely do our investigation. And we would recognize that, and you listen to my commissioner, even when he had his inaugural speech, when he said to the public, if you cannot control the children, we would deal with them for you. In situations like that, we would definitely deal with them for you. But, you know, I want Trinidad and Tobago to really, having looked at that, ask themselves, what is taking place in this child's home that this child has this sort of aggression and this child feel comfortable to behave that way in a school?
And in that regard, what advice you want to say to parents? And I want you to be stern this morning. Don't hold back, because when your child behaves like that, ultimately parents will need to get involved, because parents will now have to answer questions. And if this goes to a place now, from what I'm hearing, where children might be sent before the court, I mean that breaks my heart to know that a child could end up getting a record for something to do as a developing child. You know, the mind's still developing, but I wonder, as you said, what happens at the home and what kind of conversation. Is it time to really put down the iron fist, as it will, with some of the parents of the children?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and in a case like that, what I would want, what the court usually looks at is a form of, well, compensation as well as rehabilitation to prevent recidivism, so that the person, having gone through whatever counseling and stuff like that, you know, they would not want to engage in such behavior again. That's one. Two, with the parents, I think the parents should have some level of accountability as well, because I would tell you this may go even further when situations like that, because we are both parents. What if a parent decides, how do you tell a parent or convince a parent not to take matters into their own hand, having seen somebody is doing that to your child? Because everybody loves their children. So we now have to investigate speedily and bring that child before the justice system, so that the parent could feel some level of satisfaction with how things were dealt with, because we don't want the parents to take things into their own hand. I mean, we had a situation recently where a parent struck another child, and a lot of persons were in uproar.
And it's alleged that the parent was actually a member of the TTPS.
Well, I heard about that incident, and I am certain that investigation would have been done. I cannot say the outcome because I don't have the intimate details of it, so I don't know the outcome of it. But from time to time, even a member of the TTPS is a human being first. And at times we err, and at times our emotions get the better of us.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show, I mean, that, you know, it goes back to where there's a lack of justice, speedily, a speedy process. People sometimes take matters into their own hands. I want to ask you before we wrap up, I must get a comment from you. The geopolitical tensions that exist. Yes, we have to treat with crime and criminality. The Prime Minister said we are not a zone of peace because of what we experience in Trinidad and Tobago and the unfortunate 600 murders we had last year. Obviously, it's less at this point in time. But when we look at the bigger picture, how is the TTPS looking at this? How are you all preparing? Is there a contingency plan in case worse comes to worse?
Well, you know, the TTPS always stand by, and we are always ready to do what we have to do, right? When it comes to things like these, you would more see like members of the defense force taking the forefront, because it would be more or less time. I don't even want to use the word war, because the Bible said in the last days there will be wars and rumors of wars. And what we are experiencing now is really rumors of wars.
Rumors of war.
I understand the dangers and the destruction that drugs would have caused to societies, Trinidad and Tobago, as well as throughout the world, would have destroyed many families. So I understand that. But what I want the country to know is that don't be fooled. Don't get too alarmed. Don't panic. Don't panic by you just listen to the words and the broadcast coming out from the official sources such as the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Minister of Defense, Minister of Homeland Security. These are the people, the organization tasked with informing the public. Forget what you're seeing on social media. Forget the rumors and the rumor mongering. You're only putting additional stress on yourself. Thus far, we are continuing to do what we have to do. The state of emergency has been extended, as we know now. And, one of the weird things about it is, if there's an event, people still attend the events. And then after the event, what? You go back to thinking about if there's a war. So, we just have to continue living our daily lives. Pray, cover yourself, situational awareness. If you see something, say something. If you see a strange vehicle, if you see strange persons in your neighborhood, you continue to be situationally aware of yourself, your surroundings, your family, the places you go, the places you attend, and we go from there. But once anything serious, of course, there would be a national media broadcast to members of the public as to what's the next step.
In the seconds that remain, literally seconds that remain, any closing remarks?
Well, I want to say Trinidad and Tobago, we are here and we stand by to assist. We'll continue to assist. We continue to ask for your cooperation going forward with everything, with our crime fighting efforts, with everything that we have on board at this point in time, because the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service need your continuous support. It's a partnership. Parents, please, you are in charge of your home. Take charge of your home. Do not wait for the police officers to do it. And just to tell the members of the police service, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Association, elections is on the 3rd, Monday the 3rd of November. We encourage persons to come out and vote, do your due diligence, fact check, see which organization has brought you the best privileges, the best benefits, and you vote accordingly. Of course, Prime is the best way to go, but vote accordingly.
Yes, P. Russell, all the best. Keep us posted, and God's spare, we'll touch base next week.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Mental Health Matters up next. Johanse joins me live on set for a very important talking point. Last year we dealt with fear. This week we are fearless. Johanse up next.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Don't forget, we are Food Basket Superstore right here in Arima. Come see for yourself. From stationeries to household items and so much more. Right here at Food Basket Superstore in Arima.
I really love the variety. There's something for everyone here.
CLR is your turn. The Roadie Lovers comedy show is coming to the east. Cipriani Lepa College.
One show only. Sunday the 2nd of November, 6:30 p.m. baby. Tickets available at Electronics Arima, Doman Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral, Val Park, Gay Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, West Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Chagonas, and C3 Center Mall, San Fernando, and IslandEtickets.com. For more info, call 683-0356. Eastside, are you ready to laugh?
Welcome to the speed round of getting money right. Let's begin. Name some of the red flags associated with an investment scam.
Pressure tactics to invest.
Correct.
Promise of money if you bring friends.
Correct.
Request for personal information.
Correct. Bonus question. What is the penalty for operating a pyramid or Ponzi scheme?
$10 million and 10 years in prison.
Correct. Well done. The scores are even, so we go to our tiebreaker question. You receive money in your account from an investment company, and they tell you to transfer it to a third account. Does that sound right?
I think about it, and that's not right.
Congratulations, you tinker. Getting Money Right is brought to you by the TTSEC. Visit investigateTT.com to access free learning resources and check the TTSEC for a list of registered individuals and securities. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
Johan Say Irodike joins me. Of course, Mental Health Matters Thursday. Important talking point. And as a behavioral change consultant, Johan Say, I'm sure you treat and deal with different personalities, all different styles of approaching the life. We dealt with fear last year, and then
last week.
Even last week. And this week we are dealing with those who are fearless. Would we say less than more, in your experience?
Well, you see, even understanding what fear is, right? And I was explaining this to somebody recently, is that fear, for the most part, is irrational. It's based on imagination, right? Because there's a difference between fear, there's a difference between concern, and there's a difference between even being cautious. Because let's say I put my hand in a socket when I was a child and I get shocked, right? And I make sure now and use caution to avoid that. It's not that I'm afraid of it, it's that I have the knowledge now to know what occurs. So that's not fear. But let's just say I never experienced it and somebody tell me, you know, if you go near that, you'll get electrocuted. And now, anytime I see any socket or anything that deals with electricity, I running away from it. That now is fear, because that is something in my imagination. So I saying that's the difference. So understanding that first. So therefore now, if you're asking if it have more people who have fear or fearless, there are more people who have fear. Because many of us just imagine, including myself, imagine things.
And I don't want to be morbid this morning, but I wonder for even those who are fearless, where I guess they have probably come to terms with their mortality. I wonder, because we look at daredevils, we look at people who take either calculated risk or they just throw caution to the wind, and they do stuff with a level of fearlessness. I mean, real belly. You tell yourself, wow, when you are from the sidelines looking on, you are amazed at that somebody was able to even do something like that.
Well, you say morbid, and we don't even have to call it morbid, because most of it depends on our concept of death.
Because I feel people have a general fear of death, so that's why sometimes, there's a phobia, there is that, as you said, that particular caution, that caution tape that you won't go beyond, but there are those who, there's no guardrail, they're going beyond the caution tape, they're pushing themselves to the extreme.
Well, let's say and I say average, right? I listen average first. People, because most people are not daredevils, right? It may seem extreme to us, but one way to reduce or eliminate fear is knowledge, right? So if I understand something, then I have less reason to be afraid of it. People sometimes who do things we call daredevil, they understand what is going on. So let's say you have a man who skateboard from 1,000 feet in the air down a ramp. If he understands the physics, the weight, the everything, then where he coming from is not a place of imagination, but a place of more knowledge. So when so I'll give you an example. So last week or week before, we hear the rumor, Trinidad going to war, we're going to get a bomb, all kind of thing here in the country. A lot of that came from first imagination. So the first thing to do is, okay, let us see what is real. Right, so we're going with knowledge is power. All right, when you investigate, many things people say didn't even come from a place of reality. If you understand. So therefore now, let's come out of that. Any daredevil. So whether it is somebody who doing extreme sports, whether somebody who, like we say, taking on 10 responsibilities, and he said, nah, boy, I can't do all that. That man or woman have a real belly. Maybe they now investigate. People who are high performers, I realize, is a lot of research went into it. It's not just I wake up one day and our belly. Plenty research go into it. So that age will say knowledge is power, and that will gear management over the fear.
Is being fearless a good thing, you want to say?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, because people who fearless, that don't mean they never feel fear. No, the fear came first, because fear most times is a reflexive. So all of us would feel the fear, but then when I feel it, you know what? Let me investigate and see if I really need to feel the fear. Or the fear come, my concept of life or death or this thing, don't really not really in alignment with this fear, so I go. So everybody, or at least most people, will feel that fear first, but what you do with it after is the important part.
Before we wrap up, people who say out openly, especially when they're angry, me afraid to death. You think they're being real about it?
I will say, let's call it 50-50 for now, because sometimes when in the emotion, you ain't care about nothing, right? That's an emotional response. After the emotion comes out, you realize you're afraid to there, right? Right? But then you have some people who, based on whatever the extremity of it, I want to express it so bad I don't care what will happen.
Or the conviction, I would imagine, too.
That is a good word to use. Conviction. And that is even important for other aspects, because if I say, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to accomplish this, then the fear of death, the fear of failure, the fear of whatever it is, sometimes either completely disappears or greatly reduced. So now I am, quote-unquote, fearless.
Fearless. I like what you said, you know, being fearless, you understand the fear. But because there's a knowledge of it, a knowledge of what you're going to put yourself into, the task ahead, you have now become fearless. That's a great way to break it down for us this morning. Well, we are fearless. Going into the break, let's give Yuansi a chance to put in the closing remarks.
Nation, fear is something that we feel reflexively and naturally, but when you do the research and you understand the situation, then the fear can reduce or eliminate. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Mental Health Matters Thursday, great discussion. So we dealt with fear last week, fearless this week, and another most impactful talking point will be coming at you next week, Thursday, God spare. We get ready for the Champions of Business, the Grand Awards, Building Legacies, their gala, their reception, the full shebang. Full details after the break.
Feeling off balance? Your body might be missing AMPK. It's your natural reset, regulating how your body stores fat and processes sugar. Berberine Plus activates AMPK, helping your cells use energy better, reduce fat, and keep sugar levels in check. Berberine Plus, now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale retail, everything for you. A Rima, Shawana, Shafre, go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food Basket, Marketplace, go view, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
If you live with diabetes, your pancreas works overtime every single day. Between our rich foods and busy lives, chronic inflammation can sneak in, stressing the pancreas.
Protecting your pancreas from inflammation is a smart way to support healthy blood sugar management.
Sugar equals chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation equals insulin resistance. Insulin resistance equals diabetes. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Get your home ready for Christmas with La Vega's Big Plant Sale. From October 24th to November 2nd, enjoy 20% off all plants, pots, soil, fertilizers, fruit trees, palms, herbs, indoor plants, flowering plants, fragrant plants, ground cover, and more. While you shop, the family can enjoy the nature park, ATVs, and pools. Visit La Vega, San Fernando, or Grand Couva, both branches blooming with savings. Call for details. La Vega's Plant Sale. This one sale you don't want to miss.
Well, everyone is getting themselves ready. It's going to be going down next month at the Hyatt Regency. It's part of, I would imagine, a major milestone for the awards and the gala. The cocktail reception is going to be really tremendous. To get details, as always, we look forward to touching base with Kiran Maharaj, immediate past president of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Kiran, great to see you this morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Jason, and a great morning to all of your viewers, not just here, but all over the world.
Indeed, and a great friend, someone I haven't seen for quite a while. It was great to see your smile, the acting chief marketing officer at TSTT, Cherise Boudou. Cherise, good morning to you.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
All is well. Well, I know once
it's good to connect with the green people here.
Definitely, we're connecting with great friends, and I know when it comes to innovation, TSTT is definitely at the cusp, and I'll give you a chance to elaborate on a few. But I want to just ask Kiran, as it pertains to the True Story series, what will folks get a chance to embrace come next week? I believe it's Tuesday, right, that we run this series.
Yes, we're going to be showcasing innovation.
Yes.
And that is so important right now, Jason, because as our world and our economy locally has been changing, the innovation and that entrepreneurial spirit, and I heard you with your guest before, that ability to overcome your fear, to really step out on the edge and make all of your dreams and all of your desires come through, especially in business. It takes quite a bit out of them, but it's a characteristic. So we're going to look at innovation next week.
Indeed. Sharice, I want to ask you, why is it important to align TSTT Be Mobile Business with this particular award?
So for us at TSTT, this gives us a perfect opportunity to celebrate innovation and entrepreneurship at a grand stage, right? For us, it's about empowering local business to build a future right here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not just about support for us, it's actually who we are as a company, right? For us, the partnership with TT Chamber, it's very meaningful. It gives us an opportunity to connect at every level. It's from idea all the way to impact.
Yeah, well said. Kiran, when we consider some of the awardees over the years, who comes to mind, if we could just reminisce on some of those who would have gone to the top of the hill and through their innovation, they are able to inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs and business leaders?
Yeah, Jason, we've had companies like Printtree, DocuCenter, YBMS Biotech. We've also had Angostura, Dingoli, Wildflower, Kariri. All of these companies have really proven themselves in this space. And I have to tell you that while those, the companies and entities who have won, when you look at the nominations that come in, you feel really proud to be Trinbagonian, because you recognize that there are so many people out there who are transforming the business landscape. So to be able to honor them and through this award is just phenomenal. And I want to thank TSTT and Be Mobile for supporting us for so many years. But, we've been talking lately in the country about how we work feverishly at diversification and the non-oil and gas sector. And this is one of those categories where you see that entrepreneurial spirit shining through in innovation.
Indeed. Sharice, how important is it, or at least what kind of support is extended even beyond the awards and the dust settled, and of course we have a chance to dress up and knock a glass, but when we look at the months, the weeks, months ahead, to the winners and even those getting into business, what's the technical support provided by Be Mobile Business and TSTT?
Well, for us, overall, this particular partnership gives us an opportunity to align directly with our business strategy, right? As you would know, we have a new acting CEO. We are looking at positioning our company from a telco to a techno brand. For us, all around, we invest directly into a couple partnership. Just to mention a few, it's YBTT, Kariri, and IDB. Right? It gives us an opportunity to invest in people, ideas, and drive sustainable growth. For us, the partnership with the Chamber, it's all year round.
Yeah, for sure. Sharice, are you, on a personal level, really impressed with some of what you're seeing, the innovation, the fact that we are a creative people, but, when we see that creation in the realm of business and what we're able to do and tap into and impact not only local customers, but regional and international customers, what's been your personal takeaway in your seat at this point in time?
For me personally, I am very proud all around of Trinidad and Tobago and how well we are positioning from a digital perspective in the landscape of telecoms. For me, coming from a background of marketing, it's really amazing seeing us positioning Trinidad and Tobago on a global stage from a digital perspective. TSTT, we are proud to partner with all the different lines of businesses to support growth and development in the digital space.
Indeed, always at the cusp of innovation and technology. Sharice Budo, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning. I will let Kiran have the final say. If you can just remind us, Kiran, as to where we can get the tickets and just get more information concerning the big gala. Hyatt, apparently, big, and, you know, big. I love it.
Anniversary.
That's right.
Anniversary this year, Jason. We have to do it in true banquet style.
Yes.
So it's on November 13th. I encourage everyone to call 637-6966 or visit chamber.org.tt, and they will help sort out your tickets. But it's going to be phenomenal. We've taken the fun and engagement and excitement that people experience at Napa, and we've created a nice, intimate atmosphere at Hyatt. And this is an opportunity for us to get together, to network, to mingle, to relax, the things we don't get to do when we're in business. Jason, allow me to close off on one more quick note that, as you know, Jamaica has been facing the in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. And I wanted to mention that the TT Chamber, as part of the Joint Chambers effort and the Office of the Prime Minister, we have set up relief efforts. And I'm encouraging everyone to please take a look at our website and social media to get more information on that. But outside of that, I want to thank CNC3, Guardian Media Limited. I want to thank all of our sponsors, Calco, Proman, B Mobile Business, and thank Sharice for being here this morning, Exim Bank Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Republic Bank, and of course the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism. It's going to be fun and fantastic and phenomenal. Indeed. I've put in my cliche words there, Jason. I want to thank you all.
Indeed. Kiran and Sharice, thank you so much. All the best, and see you all for the gala in November. Later, guys.
See you soon.
With that, we take a pause and we come back for our daily health tip, and then later on, Ian steps in for the morning shot, that in-depth look at sport.
Ping pong, from Charles Chocolates, bumps into flavor. Ping pong, everybody wants some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong, bumps into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts. Delicious top class A+. Ping pong, ping pong, from Charles Chocolates, bumps into flavor.
Question: how much does a funeral go for these days? I guarantee the figure you're thinking is way smaller than the actual cost. Because even though life is priceless, death is real expensive. But CUNA Caribbean's Family Indemnity Plan can help for things like sudden funeral costs, plus the other bills left behind that could threaten your finances. And imagine, for a monthly payment of less than $70, you could cover up to 9 family members. And you don't have to take a medical exam to sign up. So don't stick. Get the Family Indemnity Plan. Why? Because it's a good thing. Trust me. CUNA Caribbean Insurance. For all people. Terms and conditions apply.
No, this is Radical Trading, you know that? And them have everything to cover anything. Radical Trading have the best fabric designs for your upholstery needs, yeah. So furniture, car, boat, tent, even material for school bags.
This one looks really nice on my couch, boy.
They even making pillow too.
Sprang.
Oui.
Oh shucks, I forget my money.
Serious?
They could pay for it for me.
Me and my big mouth boy, I wonder if Radical get thing to cover mouth yet.
Radical Trading, 4 locations nationwide.
Looking for big savings and a better shopping experience? Come on down to Food Shoppers Supermarket, 121 Eastern Main Road, Arima, in the J Chai Trading Compound. 10% off meats every Wednesday, 30% off fresh produce every Sunday and Monday. Plus, buy one, get one deals on select items. Shop in comfort, wide aisles, cool and clean store, and spacious parking. Food Shoppers Supermarket, big on savings, big on comfort.
23 moving up to the 8 o'clock hour. The morning shot is around the corner with Ian Wason. But before that, let's check in with our daily health tip. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Did you know chronic inflammation can lead to insulin resistance and diabetes? That's right. Chronic inflammation, a long-term physiological response to harmful stimuli, is not just a minor annoyance. It's a potential precursor to a host of serious health issues, including insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and pancreas-related problems. Chronic inflammation, as the name suggests, is not an acute short-term response to injury or infection. Instead, it's a slow, insidious process that can persist for months, even years. This ongoing inflammation can wreak havoc on your body's systems, including the intricate mechanisms that regulate blood sugar. Now, let's shed some light on how chronic inflammation can lead to insulin resistance. Under normal circumstances, insulin, a hormone produced by your pancreas, helps transport glucose into your cells, providing them with the energy they need. However, chronic inflammation can interfere with this process. It can make your cells more resistant to insulin, making it harder for glucose to enter your cells. As a result, blood sugar levels in your bloodstream can rise, setting the stage for diabetes. But that's not all. Chronic inflammation can also directly impact your pancreas, the organ responsible for producing insulin. Prolonged inflammation in the pancreas can damage the insulin-producing beta cells. This damage can reduce insulin production, exacerbating the problem of high blood sugar and worsening the state of diabetes. Moreover, chronic inflammation can contribute to what's known as pancreatic beta cell exhaustion. This condition leads to impaired insulin secretion and further disrupts glucose regulation, pushing the body further down the path towards diabetes. Chronic inflammation can also increase the risk of pancreatitis, an inflammation of the pancreas. This condition can damage pancreatic tissue, disrupt insulin production, and further compound the problems associated with diabetes. Understanding the connection between chronic inflammation and diabetes underscores the importance of managing inflammation. Lifestyle changes such as adopting a balanced diet, engaging in regular exercise, and managing stress can all play a crucial role in reducing chronic inflammation. And in some cases, medication may be necessary. Of course, if you have any concerns about chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, or diabetes, it's important to consult a healthcare professional. They can provide personalized guidance and help you take steps to protect your health. In conclusion, chronic inflammation is more than just a persistent annoyance. It's a potential catalyst for insulin resistance, diabetes, and a host of pancreas-related issues. By understanding this connection and taking steps to manage inflammation, you can help safeguard your health against these serious conditions.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve it. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That's big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasant Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
If you live with diabetes, your pancreas works overtime every single day. Between our rich foods and busy lives, chronic inflammation can sneak in, stressing the pancreas.
Protecting your pancreas from inflammation is a smart way to support healthy blood sugar management.
Sugar equals chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation equals insulin resistance. Insulin resistance equals diabetes. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
For me, people matter most. It's the same if you hail from Moruga, where I'm from, Mount Irvin, Scarborough, or Port of Spain. As a journalist, I'm focused on building that connection between Trinidad, the region, and the world. Most importantly, I want always to use my voice as a powerful weapon to break down barriers wherever they exist. This is why we are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Shot, and thank you for staying with us. And of course, we have enjoyed the early part of the show where we had the opposition leader as the guest with JW. But now it's on to sport as we start with the back page of today's Guardian. Windies end losing streak. Finally, some good news. West Indies haven't won a T20 series in quite a while. We even lost to Nepal last month, and it's